Hey everybody, Garrick Rumley here with Duty to Train. I wanted to go over storing your pistols safely and some things to think about. So, want to just jump right into it. I have two safes right here. I've had them for this one not as long, this one quite a bit longer. I wanted to just compare the two. This is probably, I have some gripes about this particular safe. They're probably not as big of an issue anymore just because technology has gotten so much better. But just wanted to go over some things with you that I have discovered that I really like about this safe, so you can, understand what to think about when you go and get yours. So this one's called Gun Vault, and I got this probably about 8 years ago or so. And you can see like the little, it's like push down on these buttons, and it's like a four. I think you can go anywhere between like 4 and 8. So you can do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or you could just do 1, 2, 3, 4 in any combination you want. The thing I do not like about this safe is when it pops open, it only pops open that far. Now, again, this company has probably done a lot since this safe came out 8 years ago. They probably wouldn't be around if this was still an issue. I haven't looked them up, but this is just things to think about. So do thorough research of the gun safe that you're buying. Make sure that your lid pops up, because if you're ever in a situation where you need your pistol, the last thing you want to do is go to get into it and you have to like fumble around with this. I mean, look how like thin that is. That's like what you have to get your fingers under, and in a high stress situation, that's going to be difficult. So it's easy right now, but when you're under pressure, time sensitive, someone's in your house, your family, needs you to protect them, that's going to be difficult. So something to think about. Another thing, it doesn't have a light inside. So if it's dark out, you might be like fumbling if you, store your weapon condition 4, which is the magazine is not inserted. So maybe you have your pistol and then the magazine is just not inserted into the pistol. So if you ever need to use your gun, you need to like load your pistol. People store pistols like that. So if that ever happens, you don't want to be like fumbling around in the dark. You want to have it well lit. And so this one, in comparison, boom, right? You got a light that's going to light it up at night. It pops open. You don't have to worry about fumbling around. Additionally, this little guy right here has a like USB charging port. And once the battery starts getting low, when you try to open this, they'll beep at you. So you know that your battery's getting low and you need to charge it. And I think you charge it for like 6 hours, and I think it's good for 6 months. I went as long as a year one time because I totally forgot that you charge them. I was thinking it was battery based because that's how this one works. It runs on a single D battery, and it lasts a pretty long time. These last about like 2 years. You don't want to push it all the way to the limit, especially with this Vault-Tec, since you can charge it. Maybe just if you have a calendar or something, just once a quarter, every 3 months, just give it a charge, because you never want to be in a situation where you need it and it's not charged. That would really suck. All right, so yeah, that's what you want to think about. Make sure lid pops open. Make sure these buttons are pretty easy. Again, these are all things that you're not going to really know until you get the gun. So do some reviews, or like look at some reviews, look at some YouTube videos, and think about like what you want. At least look at like 5 different reviews on 5 different safes. If you're going to spend like $100, $150 on a gun safe, make sure it's the one that you want. And I just highly recommend this company. It's called Vault-Tec. I love this safe. I actually have 2 of them because I like it so much. I'll probably never buy another gun safe. Maybe there's some other better ones out there, but this is like one of the leading industry gun safes. So I don't know. Once you find something that works for you, just kind of stick with it. So I'm going to stick with Vault-Tec, and I highly recommend them for anyone who has no idea where to start. This would be a good place to start, and then compare others to this one, and then see how they match up. But I haven't had any issues with this gun safe. I've had it for about, I think, 2 years now, and it's awesome. The one downside is the prices have gone up a decent amount. I think I got this one for like 120 or something like that, and now they're like roughly 200, maybe 240. So maybe I got it for like 140, now they're like 250. I was looking on them last night, but they've gone up like roughly $100 in the past couple of years, so they're not as inexpensive. But the one nice thing about Vault-Tec is they have made like more of a budget option, and it's called a Life Pod. and it's this like, I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out, but it's pretty small. It's probably about this big. It's like rounded. It's waterproof, so you can use it not only for storing your pistol, but then for other things as well. And I think it has like a 4-digit combination. It might have 5. But if you're looking for a budget option from a reliable company, the LifePod from Vaultec is $110. So I think that's probably your best bet if you want something reliable, and it's like your first starter, gun safe, because that's going to allow you to store your weapon safely. And also, if you only have one gun safe, it's kind of nice to have one that you can bring anywhere with you, and that makes it very portable. So if you're gonna have like your very first gun safe, and that's the only one you're gonna have for a while, make it versatile, and I think the LifePod does that. So let's see. I think that's kind of covers the basics for storing. There's a couple really cheap ways to store your pistol, and one of them is like a cable lock, and it's basically just it's a bike cable. Just clear it out, and it just goes through the magazine well. You push it like all the way through the magazine well. So think of like a bendy bike lock, and it just goes through here, pops out through here, and then you bring the two ends around together, and they click in, and then you lock it. And that just prevents the slide from going all the way forward, and then you're not able to, like a pistol won't fire unless the slide is locked all the way forward. So it prevents it from locking all the way forward, therefore preventing the gun from being fired. If you have someone who is, I don't know, if like a professional robber breaks in, they're not going to be able, they're going to be able to get into it. Those types of like locks really are just for preventing your children from gaining access to your firearms. And if they did, they're not able to manipulate the trigger. But the one downside of that is it would be very hard in a high stress situation to like go up, take the lock out, and then insert the magazine, and then rack. It's like there's a lot of moving parts. So that's why I would suggest, if you have the money, $110. But if you have a pistol anyway, you've probably spent at least $300 on a gun, $100 on, or at least $50 on ammo. If you have like 100 rounds, 9 mils, $25 a box, roughly, for like 50. So you're looking at like roughly $350. So if you spend $350 to get the gun and the ammo minimum, spend $100, $110 to like get the LifePod or something similar. You don't have to get the LifePod. That's just my recommendation, to store it safely. And then the last thing I want to talk about are the 3 different ways you can store a pistol. And this is just going to vary person to person, and it just depends on your comfort level and what you want to do. If you're more comfortable, you can store it condition 1. So actually, let's start with the beginning. So you can either store it condition 4, and you can keep your mag like in a different area, so that way, you just feel safe that no mistakes are ever going to be made. And I'm not going to suggest you do one over the other. I can do that in a different video. But it really just depends on what makes you feel comfortable. If you are storing your pistol in a way that makes you uncomfortable, that's not a good way to store your pistol. Even if it's tactically advantageous to store your pistol condition 1, which is like fully loaded and ready to go, if that makes you very nervous on a daily basis, that's not what you want as a pistol owner. You don't want to be nervous around your guns. You want to be comfortable, you want to be confident, and whatever you need to do in order to get there, that's what you need to do. So you can store your pistol just like this, with the magazine out, like condition 4. You can store it with the magazine in like a different location. You can store it condition 3, which is the magazine inserted. And that way, when you pick it up, all you have to do is rack the slide. But that prevents, it's like kind of the last fail-safe, especially if you have like small kids in the house. They're not going to be able to rack this slide probably. So it's one last fail-safe to prevent any, tragedy from occurring. Or you can, load it up, condition 1, these are dummy rounds, and then you're ready to go. The last thing I want to just mention is don't put your gun in your bedside table, because if you were going to break into a house and you wanted to go try and find a gun, what was the first place you'd look? Probably the bedside table. That's where it always is. So maybe put it in like just a different dresser drawer somewhere in the house, and not in the house, but in your room. And that way it's not like in the first place someone's going to look. So let me know if you have any questions. I hope this helped. Stay safe, live free, store your weapons safely, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.